And this brings me into the next thing that I would like to bring up, and it's our loudness. And you can download this Ulean loudness meter, and it's free, and it helps you watch the dynamic range of your track. So a lot of streaming services will actually try and reduce the loudness of your track if it hits above a certain mark. And so if our track has very small dynamic range, which is basically the difference between the loudest and the quietest sound in our music, if that difference is very small and our dynamic range is very short, what a lot of these streaming services do, they will actually start turning your track down to appear to be as loud as the rest of their content. So you want to be able to control that as much as possible, and this loudness meter lets you do just that. So as an example, we know that Spotify has an algorithm that's set up to control the tracks to be about -14 and -1 dB true peak. And true peak means that our master signal is not going to go over this -1 dB setting. And so that's exactly why I set up this limiter to be at -1, is because I don't want this peak to peak anywhere above this setting. And as we watch this meter and we listen to our track, this meter analyzes all the quiet parts of our music. And as we listen to our track, it calculates all these different fluctuations in our volume from the really quiet sounds to really loud sounds, and it creates this long-term number which is measured in loops or loudness units full scale. And this number starts to matter more and more in the modern music production, especially if you're trying to make music for media like TV or radio. This number matters a lot. And as you're adding compression to your music, you need to be watching this meter and watching the peak meter and being able to fit within that framework so that your music is not over compressed. So it depends on the genre, of course, but if in general, if you keep your tracks at around -14 loops and around -1 dB true peak max, this will fit in a lot of different productions, so your music is much more usable. So I also have this waves meter. It measures the same thing. The only thing is that you need to listen to this whole track in its entirety to be able to measure accurately the quietest and the loudest parts of your track.